Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we were the scouting staff this season for the Hula Bowl. Today I have with me one of the participants of that event. His name is Luke Masterson. He's the linebacker out of Wake Forest. How's your day going, buddy?
Going great. How about you?
Doing well, man. It's nice to sit down with one of our guys that we really like. We really enjoyed having you down there at the Hula Bowl. So I look forward to talking about those experiences and everything else you got going on right now. So
Absolutely.
um, for people that may not know your story, give us like a backdrop if you don't mind. Give me like a brief history, maybe where you're from and how you got there to Wake Forest.
Yeah, so I'm from Naples, Florida. I am the oldest of eight kids. I went to high school at Gulf Coast High School, coached by Coach Famanaya. Um, I played safety throughout my whole high school career. Um, actually came in as a running back and then switched to safety after my freshman year. Really kind of got the hang of things, started playing well my junior year, and kind of went through the same recruiting process a lot of guys go through. Had to go to camps across the country to try and get noticed by coaches. Ended up doing really well at the Wake Forest camp, and caught the eye of Coach Elko, who was the D coordinator then. He actually just got the head coaching job at Duke recently, but he caught the eye of him, and they ended up offering me about a week later after that camp. And then really, I had some other offers coming out of high school, but Wake Forest is kind of a no-brainer for me. The combination of being able to play football in the ACC and get such a great education that you can get there at Wake Forest was really a no-brainer for me. So I committed, I think, a week or two after I got offered, so pretty quickly, and then stayed committed there throughout my senior year, and went up to Winston-Salem right after I graduated high school. So I came in as a safety because I played safety throughout my whole high school career. Um, Ended up redshirting my first year. Wake Forest is a developmental program, so a lot of guys redshirt and learn the system and get bigger, faster, and stronger, so that they can be great players down the road. And played safety first 4 years, three and a half years, and you know started growing. I kind of had the frame to put on weight, and then I started playing a little bit of outside linebacker, back to safety, flipping back and forth, and then this last year transitioned full time to linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, don't you don't look like a safety anymore. I mean, you look at a guy who's 232 pounds. So I mean, that's not a safety or anymore. So I completely get you there. So obviously, we really liked you. We wanted to give you the opportunity to come down to the Hula Bowl and really keep you home in some regard because you figure, being from the Naples area, we want to be able to bring you in and it was really fun having you there. Let's talk about you as a player now. I mean, obviously, we're looking forward to you getting to the next level. So, as a linebacker, tell me maybe, how do you feel like you fit in, like, at the next level, like, and what type of player you are, maybe what type of linebacker you are.
Yeah. So I think all my time playing safety has helped me a lot at linebacker because the game's kind of shifted into you need more coverage linebackers, guys that can run and cover running backs, and play in space. And I think all the years of me playing safety throughout high school and then pretty much all my college career up until the last year or two has really helped me to kind of be ahead of the game in that aspect. I can cover running backs well. I can play zone coverage in space well. So I think that's one of my strengths as a linebacker. And then also, I think I'm an instinctual football player. So being able to be closer to the line of scrimmage and just, I think linebacker is much more of a reactive position than safety. At safety, you're 10 yards back to 20 yards back, depending on what coverage you're in. Um, there's a lot more time between things that go on. At linebacker, you got to react and play fast. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about it. And I think that suits my talent well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at guys of your history, I mean, you look at guys really that you really want to see as like at least at first, a guy that you can really count on special teams. I mean, you look at a guy who should immediately be like an X factor there and really contribute. Can you chat just a little bit about your experience on special teams?
Yeah, that's actually how I started playing at Wake. I think Wake Forest values special teams. I mean, it's super important, and they emphasize that right from day one. And that's kind of the way that, at least at Wake Forest, the way that you can get on the field the fastest. So knowing that, me and a lot of the other guys in my class were in the special teams coach's ear, trying to learn, different coverages on and different units so that we can get on the field. And I think my first year playing, I was on all 4 units. I was a 4 unit guy for a couple years. And then as I started playing more defense, kind of transitioned to more of a 2 unit guy, punt and kickoff. But I think that it's super valuable. I think we treated punt and kickoff just like another defensive play. So we had pretty much all of our starters on there at Wake. And I think it's incredibly important, obviously, in the league as well, especially for guys coming in trying to earn a role and make a name for themselves. I think special teams is great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, I just can't stress it enough. I mean, a guy who I know has a lot of great athleticism, and can really be used in that facet and really contribute like day one on any professional team, at least in that regard. So, Luke, I kind of want to give you a little bit of insight, actually. Throughout the season, we had a lot of our Hula Bowl staff put together evals on guys. So one of our scouts had some things to say about you, and I just kind of wanted to read that for you, just so that you hear it. So this is actually from one of our scouts. His name is Stephen Thompson. So if you want to hit this guy up, he does excellent work. So obviously, like you had mentioned, a converted safety, possessing good athletic ability, speed, and agility for the inside linebacker position. Shows quality change of direction, ability, and quickness, which translates well when playing in space versus the pass. Above average play diagnosis, playing downhill immediately versus the run. So, obviously a guy who I can trust to be in coverage and also come down and contribute as a run defender. So, really like that about your game. I mean, obviously we liked it enough in order to bring you down to the Hula Bowl. So, how do those words, do they sit well with you? Do you feel how does that feel? Does that kind of describe you in a nutshell, or what?
Yeah, I think that does. I think something that some people may not know is that I played a ton of different positions, and I think that speaks to my football IQ as well. During my junior year, I was filling in for linebacker, and then so I played linebacker first and second down, and then on third down I back up and play safety in our dime package. So I think something that hopefully teams will get to know once I get to the next level is my football IQ as well.
Yeah, and you were a team captain as well, right? So I mean,
Yes, sir.
obviously you get a guy who's a leader. So talk to me about you as a leader there for the Wake Forest program.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the best honors of being at Wake Forest, because the way that we do captains is every player on the team and every person in the program gets 6 votes. And it's really just, it's up to the players and the coaches who they want to lead that program. And so I think in 2020, being voted a captain for the first time was one of the biggest honors that I've had. And I took it to heart. I've grown so much as a leader from 2020, from the 2020 season, which was obviously difficult for many different reasons with COVID and different things going on throughout the country, to this year. I've learned so much. I think the biggest thing that I've learned about leadership and the way that I lead is that I develop relationships with my teammates first, because I've been a part of teams that have leaders that may not develop those relationships in the off season, so that when they do have to lead and say tough things to get guys going, guys might not necessarily take it the right way, and they might take it, that they're bossing them around and they're coming from a position where they don't respect them or something. So that's something that I took to heart in the off season, is to develop as many relationships as I can with guys, so that when I did have to have tough conversations throughout the year, and be a guy that, leaders aren't always liked by everybody. It's just kind of the fact of leadership. You're going to have tough conversations at times. So I think me developing those relationships in the off season and throughout the season made those tough conversations easier and well received by my teammates. So um, again, I think that was probably one of the highlights of my time at Wake Forest, is being voted a captain twice.
Awesome. So I mean, being a team captain certainly helps. So let's shift gears, man. I mean, I want to talk about you and your experience actually in Orlando at the Hula Bowl. So it's fantastic having you down there. I mean, one of the great things is you were named defensive MVP. So,
Yes,
but before we get to that moment, let's just kind of talk about that week for you. I mean, tell me what it was like, getting that one call with that invite, and then just kind of any story throughout the week you want to share.
yeah, no, I mean, it was awesome. Right from getting the call from Damon, getting that I was going to get invited down there. Obviously, it being so close to home was super cool, because I got to have so much of my family come up and watch. And just the opportunity to play with so many guys from across the country, and be coached by guys that had so much experience in the league. That alone was, got my excitement going, and I was super excited to get down there. And then the whole week didn't disappoint. I mean, right from day one, you guys ran such a great. It was so organized. The coaches were great. I can't say enough about the coaches. Um, they all had so much experience, and you could tell they really cared about trying to help us as much as they could in those 5 days or 4 days, because they were there to help us, and you could tell that, and you could tell that they cared. And so for me, I was just trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can, and it was awesome. I think everybody there that was invited was awesome. It was pretty cool to see how you can develop relationships with guys, and really develop a sense of team in just 3 or 4 practices. I think that speaks to the quality of guys that were invited to the Hula Bowl. Everybody had a great attitude and wanted to compete, and it made for a great week.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I know you got dinged up there, like at the beginning, but I mean, we got you all fixed up, and actually had a really great week there. Kind of also how you had mentioned, I mean, a lot of great relationships built throughout the week, but some of the relationships that you had there, you already had previously. So talk about the guys that you knew that were coming already.
yeah. So first, Cameron Kay is from Naples. He went to high school with me. He played D line and long snap at my high school, and then he ended up going to Troy to long snap. And so when I saw he got invited about a week or two before me, and then right when I got the invite, he was the first guy I called, and I was like, dude, we're gonna go to the Hula Bowl together, and we get to play one more game, and we were on the same team too, which was awesome. We actually ended up driving up from Naples together, to get up there to Orlando, and it was great, playing football with him again. I haven't been able to spend as much time with him over the past 5 or 6 years, because we've been in college, but it was great, being on a team with him again and hanging out with him. And then obviously Nick Skiba too, a kicker from Wake Forest, Mr. Reliable, one of the best to ever do it. And he was my roommate for every game this year, and so we got to room together again this year for one more game, which was awesome. He's a great kid, and great friend.
Awesome. I mean, and definitely a guy who he was able to kick a 52-yarder in our game too, which is
Yeah,
excellent. I thought that was
that's awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah,
So, part of also the experience is actually sitting down with, these scouts. We had a bunch of scouts, and we had over 130 NFL scouts, and scouts from really all over, like the gambit of leagues that are out there. So, talk about maybe just your experience with the NFL personnel there.
yeah, it was great. The Hula Bowl did a great job of setting time slots each day that you could have open to talk to as many people as you could. And I think that was one of the best parts about the week, is that Obviously the scouts got to go out there and watch everybody perform on the field. They got to go watch practices in the game. But I think one of the best things for us was that all the scouts were able to get to know us on a more personal level off the field. They got to, talk football with us and talk life and get to know us and get to know, what we know about the game of football, but also a little bit about who we are as people. So I think that was a very valuable part of the Hula Bowl for sure.
Awesome. And then again, I mean, we got to the game. You did, really well in the game, and then they named you defensive MVP. So kind of a sweet moment. I remember having that conversation with you at breakfast. You could do it, man. So just so that people know that I wasn't joking, can you confirm that?
Yeah, no, I was at breakfast. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and kind of trying to get in game mode, get my mind right. And you came up to me and was like, you were pumped up for game day and just talking ball with us. And hey, like said something like, how about getting that defensive MVP today or something? Like, you okay with that? Like, you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, man, that'd be awesome. And sure enough, ended up playing well and getting defensive MVP and saw you right after the game, and it was hilarious.
Dude, I was so psyched. I loved it, man. Like I was jumping for joy, just along with everybody else in your family. Like, that was such a great moment for sure. So, hey, I do want to talk just a little bit more about you and your experience as a a collegiate football player. So obviously, other than that one experience of you being the Hula Bowl defensive MVP, what's maybe one of the best memories of you there at Wake Forest in your collegiate football career?
Yeah, um, that's a good question. I think there's a ton of great memories from Wake Forest. I think, as I mentioned earlier, getting voted a captain was is definitely up there. But I think this year alone, we had a special year. We had 11 wins. We tied for the most wins in program history. Um, and it was just a special year in all aspects. So I think if you just look at this year alone, there's so many great moments that I could choose from. But I think one of the best moments of my career there was NC State senior night. We had a chance to, if we won that game, we kind of had a chance to solidify our shot in the AC championship. So it was a night game, senior night. It was packed, and we ended up winning. And we all played. Defense played great, offense played great. It was just one of those games where things were clicking. And after the game, the whole stadium stormed the field, and it was something that I've never seen at Wake Forest in my 6 years there. All the guys were just, I mean, it was unreal. I remember standing up at the top of the locker room with Coach Clausen and just looking back at the field with everybody on it, and it was kind of like that moment where you kind of realize what all your efforts went to those 6 years, and it was for moments like that and kind of changing that culture at Wake Forest to being where we're at now, and hopefully where they can continue to take that into the future. But that was definitely one of those moments that I'll never forget, and probably one of the best moments I've had at Wake.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a great moment there for sure. I mean, you guys have a lot of great talent coming out of Wake Forest these days, and really a lot of great talent that's still remaining for like next season. So really, looking forward to what next year is going to look like for the Deacons as well. So
Yeah.
um, let's get a chance. I want to meet Luke Masterson outside of football. So tell me something about yourself that maybe not everybody knows. Something interesting, unique, fun, hobbies, or anything you got really. So go ahead and hit me with something.
So I just got married last weekend. So that's
Really fantastic. And I didn't get the invite. What's up, man? Come on. No, it's all good.
no, yeah. So Sarah and I got married. We've been dating since high school. We dated all throughout college. So it was long overdue. But so we got married last weekend, which is obviously exciting. Put off the honeymoon until sometime in the future as I'm training and stuff. But obviously we're both super excited about that.
That's
Um,
fantastic, man. I mean, congrats.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And then hobbies, I love to fish. I love to do anything outside, but growing up in Naples, that's kind of the thing to do down here is to go fishing. My dad took me fishing ever since I was a kid, and I kind of developed a love for that. That's kind of my thing to do outside of football. I just think it's a great way to get outside, enjoy nature, kind of give your mind a break, and really just enjoy the outdoors. So anything to do with fishing, I love to do. A little bit of hunting, not as much down here, but really anything outside.
Gotcha. So, I mean, obviously, a guy, from Naples, likes to fish. Just got married, which is awesome. I was gonna ask you. Let's see. Give me like your, I don't know, if you wanted like the best meal, like what would be like your go-to meal? Like if you just came home from like a long day at work and you were given like what's going to be that comfort food that Luke Masterson will always want?
Yeah, I think lobster tail's got to be on there. We used to go lobstering in the Keys and bring home a bunch of lobster tail, and I always loved that. So that's always a treat. So I think I'd have to throw a lobster tail on there, probably a steak, and then some kind of pasta on the side.
So who's cooking now? Is it you or the wife?
A little bit of both, honestly. I kind of developed a little bit of cooking skills throughout college, trying to do meal prep and stuff these last couple of years. So I learned quite a bit on my own, but she's a good cook as well. So we share the duties a little bit.
Awesome. Nice to be able to share that for sure. So,
Yeah.
um, as you're preparing for the draft, I mean, talk to me about maybe where you're training, if you got coaches that you're working with. What are you doing right now?
Yeah, so I'm here in Naples, but I'm training at X3 Performance in Fort Myers. Jordan Llewellyn's running it up there. He does a great job with the all the combine prep, speed work, the weight training, all that. And then Coach Nate O'Neill's running the linebackers up there too. So I get a good mix of all the speed work I need, all the weight training I need, but also get a lot of good position work in that you know is sometimes missed at training facilities. I mean, we got a great opportunity up there because not only do we have a good group of linebackers to work with, but we got running backs, tight ends up there too. So, the days we get to go to the field, we get to work on linebacker drills and then also hit some one-on-ones and do that kind of stuff. So it's really, really valuable, time up there in all aspects and in the weight training, the speed work and the skill training. So um, I've already improved a ton in the month that I've been there and really looking forward to improving these next couple of months before pro day.
Gotcha. And when's pro day?
March 30th. So
March 30th. So,
yeah.
can you give us any sort of preview as to perhaps how that pro day is gonna work out? Like, do you know where you're at with things like the 40, the vert, all those things? Can you give me just a nibble?
I don't want to set a limit on myself, but hoping around a good 40. Anything under a 4.6 would be great. I think I'm a fast guy and get the form down and hopefully run under a 4.6. Um, we're doing all the drill work and the field work, so hopefully do well on those. And I don't want to set a limit on myself, so I want to do as best I can. I got another couple of months to train, so just maximize my athletic potential.
That's great, man. I mean, you obviously have a lot of great coaches that are helping you, through all those things. I knew you were kind of already in the 4.6s, but I mean, I know that you're obviously trying to get in the best shape that you possibly can be, and maybe even break that. So I hope that you do it, man. Really looking forward to your pro day. So,
Sure.
as we wrap up this interview, I want you to take one more opportunity. I mean, I know you sat down with a lot of scouts at the Hula Bowl. But for people that may not have met you yet, I want you to just kind of take a moment, look directly into that camera, look at all those scouts that may be watching this video, and tell them why they need to take a chance on you and draft you and bring you into their franchise. So go ahead and hit them with your pitch.
Yes, sir. So if you draft Luke Masterson, you're going to get a guy that gives effort on every play, takes great accountability with his work. I think, you know, the responsibility that I have to my teammates and coaches to do my job is something I take super seriously. That goes every single day, whether you're on the field or not. I take that to heart, and it's something that I take pride in. You're going to get an athletic guy that can play sideline to sideline, very instinctual football player, versatile football players, played a few positions. And then you're going to get a smart football player who can learn a playbook quickly, know what he's doing, where to go, and how to get there, and just a accountable football player.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with you more. I mean, obviously, we really loved you. We wanted you to come to the Hula Bowl. You displayed that for us there, being named the defensive MVP. And again, like we had already mentioned, being versatile, being very athletic to play sideline to sideline, also being a quality leader on and off the field. So certainly bring a lot to the table to any program who wants to bring you in. So
Sure.
Luke, I wish you best of luck with everything you got going on, and once again, congrats on the marriage there. So,
Thank you.
once again, I have with me Luke Masterson, linebacker out of Wake Forest. Thanks again, buddy.
Absolutely.